Alright, so I just got back from US Nationals and then a week later Southern Championships, and I actually competed in FMC for the first time at the Southern Championships, and it was pretty fun. I got a 34 single on my second attempt. Unfortunately, I DNF'd the first because I did my notation incorrectly. That's okay. It was only a 40, and this one was a 34, so I was a bit happier with it. I really don't know much about FMC. It was actually kind of a lucky attempt. I know 34 is not a usual first score, but I'm pretty happy with it, and so I wanted to do a walkthrough, kind of my thought process, and hopefully get a little bit of a critique on what I could improve. So I'm going to put the Scramble on the screen right now and show a picture of my solution card. Alright, so I've gone ahead and applied the Scramble to these two cubes. As you can see, they're scrambled the exact same way. And I have actually my notes here, the notes I took during the attempt. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort of walk you through a few things I did and sort of what these notes mean. So the first thing I have here on my notes is a cycle of 3 edges, as you can see. So that's a 5-move edge comb written as 7 moves because you're not allowed to do slice moves during FMC. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this on one cube but not on the other so that you can see at the end what it actually did. So I started with white-green because that's obviously the orientation that the cube has to be in. So I'm going to do it to this one here. U prime, LW, L prime, U2, LW prime, L, U prime. Like that. And as you can see, it looks very, very similar to this cube, except now the blue-white edge is over here instead of the blue-red edge. This is blue-white, this is blue-yellow. Just cycled a few edges. So when I was first looking at this scramble, I saw that the green cross was pretty easy. There's a piece here, a piece here, and one already on the bottom. And I also saw that there was this pre-made here, this green and yellow, this pair, and so I wanted to preserve that. So what I did was I rotated to put green on the bottom and white on the front, and then I did a D, R, and then an L prime F to insert this and preserve this pair here. D2, U prime, so that keeps this pair, and then an L prime to put this finish off the cross. So I'm going to do that to this cube as well. D, R, L prime, F, D2, U prime, L prime. So as we can see, both of these cubes are in a very, very similar state. So the next thing here is pretty obvious. There's this F2L pair that I preserved. So I went ahead and I inserted that pair in the back with 3-move insertion. That's this B, U prime, B prime, insert first pair. And then the next thing I saw was that there's actually this pair here, this green, red, and white corner, and this red and white edge, that can also be inserted with 3 moves. And that is this F prime, U prime, F, insert second pair. And then I got pretty lucky again. I did a U2, and there's actually this green, orange, and white corner ready to be paired up with this green, orange, and white edge. So U2, L prime, U prime, L, U2, L prime, U prime, L. And when I got here, I saw that there is a pretty big block going on. So I was doing the green, and I sort of thought about finishing off this white, but I decided to kind of hold off and finish just doing green. So the last pair is in the back, this green, orange, yellow corner, and this orange and yellow edge. So what I did, as shown here, is a U, L, U, L prime, and that creates the pair in the back here. And then I did a Y2 because I'm not super comfortable with writing my algs from the back yet. U prime, like this. And when I saw this, I realized, okay, if I do a sledge, that will orient all of my edges and give me a much better OLL. And I actually ended up skipping OLL completely and getting a U-perm. And so my thought process was, oh, a U-perm, that's a 3 cycle of 3 edges. Let me do that in the beginning as 7 moves instead of a U-perm as 11 moves, or I believe 9 moves is the FMC optimal U-perm. So by doing this 3 cycle that I did on this cube originally, when I do this pair, not only do I skip OLL, but I actually skip the U-perm as well, and I'm just left with a U, AUF, to finish off the solve. So instead of doing that instead of just getting instead of getting a U perm, I end up getting a U AOF, and I don't have to do that long alg. So that was my FMC solution. There were probably a few little inefficiencies in there, maybe some place that I could have canceled these moves with the cycle of 3 edges that I didn't, or maybe a different cross or different blocks that I didn't see. So if you do FMC, please give this scramble a try. I'd love to see other solutions because I don't really know much. I'm just starting to learn about it, and I'd love to see what other people can come up with.